Hey everybody, this is Paul with Collector's Escape, and today we are down in our brand new library that we're still developing, still filling, and really enjoying. And we're here to talk about Agatha Christie books. Now I have the complete collection of Agatha Christie books, and it's an amazing collection, 1950s, 60s, and 70s books, with a lot of books from a lot of first editions, from Dale books, from pocket books. I have to say that these books were sort of a blessing. They were willed to me by my uncle. And if you love books, it's usually for a couple different reasons. Either you love the content of a book, or you have a nostalgic feeling for the time in your life when you read that book, or people and individuals that those books are associated with. And my uncle, Uncle Wayne, was a very interesting guy. He was a top flight pianist. He could play anything. He was a very neat guy, and he loved cool stuff such as Agatha Christie. And every time we'd go to visit him, every bedroom in his big home would have its own mini library of Agatha Christie books, so you could just pop one off and you could jump on the Orient Express, or you could jump into a great mystery anytime. And so I am, that makes it even more of a great thing for me. These books are, of course, a great investment, and they're worth a lot of money, but they are worth a lot more in what they mean to me from how they're tied together. Now, Agatha Christie was born in 1890 and started writing her first story when she was 16. She was what they call a born writer. She wrote 66 full novels, 14 novellas. She wrote under pen names and had great accomplishments. Her first book came in 1920, where she's very young, like 20-year-old, 21-year-old. And right at the end of World War I, she was a nurse, and she started writing, and just an amazing career. And she stayed into what we call classic detective novels, classic murder mysteries, and thrillers. And I want to show some of the covers. We're going to try to show you all the covers. We probably aren't going to be able to in the time that we have, but let me show a few that you may have heard about or seen in movie or other kinds of depictions that come from Agatha Christie. Here's one called A Witness for the Prosecution. Very well-known story, A Witness for the Prosecution. And somewhere in my list, I'll probably see it at the end, was one of her books titled And Then There Were None. And that's listed as the highest selling novel of all time. And those titles come and go and change, but that tells you just how many people love those stories. Appointment with Death. Another really cool story. Agatha Christie wrote several series. She's most known for the Jane Marple murder mysteries, and that her first story that came out really started out with a detective that she wrote a lot about, and that was Hercule Poirot. Hercule Poirot. Here's one of Hercule Poirot's in her series. So she had the ability to write standalone books. She had the ability to write really good series. Most everyone has heard of Murder on the Orient Express. Now, what I like about my set is that these are 1950s, 60s, and 70s covers. So you get some really cool depictions on the cover art. And it is okay if you are a cover art lover of books, because the presentation at the very beginning of the story means so much. Here's A Cat Among the Pigeons. And you can see the time dated, but really cool covers. Let's start up here with the overflow books. There's so many Agatha Christie books that it's just impossible to kind of put them in one display spot very well. But if you're a reader and a lover, you don't have to go very far to run across her books. They say, oh yeah, that's an awesome read. Pale Horse. Swing over here. I like the titles. They're pithy and catchy. They don't have to be long, but they say a lot. Now you can see that there are covers where they get into the same style of cover and stay with it, such as this book right here and this book right here. They would have several that would go. These were a Hercule Poirot mystery series. And so the covers would stay very similar in when they were doing the series, and then they would branch off to radically different one. The Moving Finger. Awesome cover work. Remembered Death. Agatha Christie passed away in 1976, and her books today are just as loved. These mysteries are still being made into movies. Readers are still finding these stories, and the same catalyst for success: good storylines, great endings for chapters, great climax and conclusion, having the solid twist that keeps you thinking in all directions, still there. Nothing in time as it's passed has taken away from the great story writing of Agatha Christie. All right, this is Paul for Collector's Escape. Hope you enjoyed today's look at Agatha Christie novels. Again, if you like classic science fiction, such as the shirt I'm wearing today, these awesome depictions from the 30s, 20s, 40s, 50s, then check below and check those out. We'll be back with some more great collectibles very soon.